What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 23rd day of June, and here we are sitting at about $62.3 thousand, making a nice little move down 2.65% on the day. Again, I feel like I'm talking about this thing, but in the complete opposite of what yesterday's price action was. 2.6% is not a huge percentage, but for Bitcoin, especially relatively speaking, that's actually a pretty decent day. We've definitely seen bigger days, and there are bigger days ahead to the downside, that's for sure. But before we get into the short-term analysis, I do want to say my piece, my summary, my assumption as far as what we're going to be doing overall in this little zone. I do believe that we're forming a zone much like this zone, or maybe if you want to take this whole zone, a consolidation phase, right? A zone much like this zone here, a consolidation phase before we find our final leg down in this bear market, likely late July or to somewhere in August or later, that we see this leg take place. And while we're in this zone consolidating, we can see lower lows. I've been saying that since this area here. I've been saying it since the very high points here. And we did say it yesterday as well. We've been saying it the whole way along that just because we're moving sideways, this is not a valid low yet. There's a lot of people in the markets who've written this off as if it's some type of valid low, that we have a double bottom, that we're about to rally higher. But I don't know if that's a valid form of thinking. Again, the reaction we had here at this level was immense. It was stupendous. We came back down anywhere near this level, and we had a very stupendous reaction. Again, here we have not had such an immense reaction. It was more fought for, and we're coming back down already. I want to look at the short-term stuff before I get too presumptuous, but I do want to say that it's completely possible that we do go below this low. That doesn't mean that we're going to see another move like this. That doesn't mean this is a bear flag and we're breaking out. There's going to be a bunch of people, and it's the same mentality, it's the same psychology, the same thought process that I have here that I had in this consolidation phase, that we had at the very beginning of this consolidation phase, which is that the likely outcome, even though I was wrong here, I was wrong about what direction we broke out to. I thought we were going to break out to the upside, not the downside. Here, I remember saying we are going to move sideways for months. I said the same thing, that we were going to be boring. I was wrong about the directional heading, and then we flipped bearish here, right? We flipped bearish right whenever we got below these lows. But anyways, here we said sideways. This is pretty sideways. We had a little bit of an uptrend within this sideways, but pretty sideways, boring consolidation phase, and we dropped. Right? The expectation here is that we're going to be boring and move sideways, okay? Regardless of the possibility that we go lower, I don't think that we're seeing anything like this come into play, because really what the indicators are saying is that we've moved down. We've seen an exhaustive, immense move to the downside. It doesn't mean we can't go lower. Anything can happen, but I highly doubt that we do at this point in time. I think we're going to gather our bearings. Any move up comes down. Does that mean we get a lower low? No. Maybe we get a higher low. Maybe this is it. Who knows? We'll look at the short-term stuff and see. We move up higher. Does that mean that we're breaking out, that we're going to new all-time highs? No. We're moving sideways. We're going to be moving sideways. We're going to be, and sideways doesn't necessarily mean that you're just doing this, right? Like here, you put a line right there in the middle. Okay, there's, some higher lows and higher highs, and a breakout there, and then a breakout there. It's still sideways. We're still moving sideways, right? We can move sideways at an upward tilt. We can move sideways at a downward tilt. I do expect that at the point of late July, like a month from now or later, we will start to break out to the downside, but not before then, okay? And I've theorized this too since the beginning of this phase, that I believe this phase will be immensely shorter in time than this phase was here. So this phase will be shorter. It will potentially even be shorter than this phase as well. And if I'm wrong, maybe we're consolidating until September or October, and we really do find our bear market in November, December. But what I think is going to happen, what I truly believe is going to happen, is we're going to get this bottom early. It's going to be an earlier bear market bottom. It'll be somewhere between 55 and 50K, or maybe somewhere in the 40s. We could go as low as the lowest target I have is low 40K, so 43K, really 55 to 40K. Let's just say that somewhere in that range. And while we're there, everybody's going to be expecting that we go lower. We're going to hit another consolidation phase where we move sideways. We're going to move sideways for months. This will be the bear market end. It's going to be boring. And the whole bit of the way, everybody's going to think that we are going to go lower, that we're going to go sub 40K, that we're going to go to 30K. You're going to hear a bunch of people say this. We're probably going to form an uptrend of sorts that gives some people hope, and then we reject prior support, we come down, we quote unquote break out of that uptrend, but we're not actually breaking out of that uptrend, we're just moving sideways. That's what's going to happen. This is the future. I don't know why I'm talking about it now, because so many of us have short-term memory. I could say all these words now, and I'm going to still have to say them months from now. But what I thoroughly expect, and this is based off my 11 years now in crypto, as far as what I'm expecting, I expect that we move sideways here till the end of July or sometime in August. We move down somewhere between 55 to 50K, potentially as low as 40K, somewhere in that zone overall. And then we move sideways for an even longer amount of time, and a very mischievous, misleading amount of time, with price action and time as the mischief, as the misleading source, to make people think that we're going to go lower, when inevitably we will actually come up, we will rise, we will see higher highs and higher lows for the first time since the bull market, and we will officially have declared at the end of the bear market. The thing is, here, a lot of people assume that the bull market is, there's a lot of people right now in the crypto space, in this space, that believe that the bear market's over, this is a double bottom, and that we're setting up for the bull market. That doesn't mean that they're of this assumption that we're going to be moving higher right now or moving down right now. Though there are a lot of people, this is what I got distracted on, there are a lot of people who are polarized. They think we're either going to move up at a fast pace or we're going to move down at a fast pace. And whenever we have this polarized assumption, that's when we move sideways. That's when the sideways comes in. But there's a lot of people who assume we're in a bull market right now. What we need to happen is capitulation. When everybody is like, oh, okay, we are in a bear market. There's a good bit of people that think we're in a bear market, but I don't think the majority thinks we're in a bear market anymore. I think the majority thinks this really could be the end of the bear market. When the majority thinks at the lows, oh, this is not the end of the bear market, we're definitely going lower. When that's the majority sentiment, that's how you know it's the end of the bear market. When everybody's on board, when every single person is a genius and they know that it's going to go lower, that's when it's at the end. Okay? And we're not going to have that on day one of the most peak bearishness. That's not a good read. You have to have months of sideways, of boring price action to really get the feel of the market. And in that sideways price action, at the high, people will say, no, we're still in a bear market, we're going to go lower. And then we do go lower. See, I told you we're in a bear market. Oh, we're pumping up again, doesn't matter, we're going to sell off. And then we keep pumping, and we keep pumping, and then we get a higher low, and we keep pumping. We don't give it up. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Let's get into the short-term stuff, okay? 62.2K, moving down aggressively. You can see that here, from our low back last Thursday on the 18th of June, we had a little move up. It took all this time to move up. And then what did we do? We fell at a much faster pace than any of these pumps here. Maybe not than these pumps here, I don't know. But we had a bigger move down than we ever did in move up here. And then not only that, after checking for a second if we wanted to move up or down, we consolidated here for a second. When you started to move down this third leg of this 1 hour time frame move, you got more aggressive with more volume. This is bearish. It's not good. Okay, it's definitely not good. Now, you are in a bit of a predicament if you're the bears. When you get a lot of volume, typically you're expecting to break out, and we're at this point where we should be breaking out. I guess we broke out of this, so, you know, fair is fair. But you need to make a move soon, and we want that volume to come in. Okay, I don't know why I was doing that. If that volume doesn't come in, if we don't see the volume come in, likely whatever move down we make will be a fake out, and then we move up. Again, it's completely possible that from here we're going below 60K, we're going below 59K. It's completely possible, but it's equally as possible, even still, that we find support somewhere around that area or above that area instead of below that area. Looking at the 1 hour indicators, the RSI is bearish. Getting oversold typically results in a breakout. This, to me, I mean, it does seem like a breakout. It seems like we've broken out of this upward sloping trend for the last week. Broke out of that with volume. Stochastics rejecting the oversold zone. This isn't good, guys. This is not good at all. Look at what you did with your bullish stuff, right? This is your bullish move. This is how you know it's in control. Look at how bullish you were. Consistently getting overbought, rejecting the oversold zone. So beautiful. This is a turd nugget of a move. Your bullish shenanigans sucks. Soon as you get bearish, the bears evaporate all of that, and you look like you're going to go lower. The bears are dominant. The bulls are given all this time to run, and they do jack all. And as soon as the bears get a taste of power, they do something with it. Because the bears have control and the bulls have none. We're still in a bear market. That's why they have control. 1 hour MACD sucks. Stochastics suck. The RSI is oversold. RSI on the 4 hours is about to get oversold. You hear oversold in your head and you think, oh, it's oversold. That means it's time to buy. Well, sometimes. Sometimes as soon as you're oversold, that's the best place to buy. Sometimes. And not even really the best place, but just relatively speaking, that was good for a short-term trade. Most of the time, once you get oversold, it's the beginning of more to come. Imagine buying or going long right here at the point of which you got oversold. That was the beginning of this phase. Okay? Whenever you got oversold here, that was not the end. You still moved down. You still had lower prices to go, and you really didn't see much recovery after that. Buying at the oversold zone as soon as you're oversold only worked out once out of the last 3 times. Only worked out once out of the last 4 times. Only worked out once out of I don't know if I'd count that, because I mean, you got into it, but you still went lower. I'm not going to count that. Even though if I wanted to, I could say once out of the last 5 times. The point being, we've just started to interact with the oversold zone. I don't think we get this reaction. I think we get something more like this or one of these reactions where we do dive deeper, and it looks like we're not finding support here. Okay? It looks like we're not finding support. At least not in my opinion. Volume's picking up as we're moving down. Lower we goer. If we look at this from a low point here to a high point here, you've gone from your golden ratio to your 236, and now you're down at your golden ratio for a second attempt. Typically, if you find support on the first attempt, you get above the 236, that's bullish. But if you find support and then you reject the 236, you come back down, the next target would be the 786, 886, potentially as low as the 1272, 1618 area. We could, and I don't think this is what's happening, but there is a chance that we could be going down to 57 to 54.6K right now. This could be happening by the end of June, early July. This could be happening. And we bounce, and we're still moving sideways. It could be a more extreme drop, and we bounce. We still imagine all the people who will think that we're at the end of the bear market there. We see something like that, and we get a massive recovery. And then later, we drop in August, July. I'm not calling for 57 to 54.6K. I don't think it's going to happen. I think most likely, and I could be wrong, I didn't think we dropped this fast. I thought that we were going to find support at 64K. And then, oh wait, yeah, I mean, I did think that we dropped at 64K. I'm getting confused with this move. I didn't think we dropped this fast here. I thought we were going to find support at 74K. I thought we were going to find support at 65K. We did, originally said 65 to 60K was the target area, but still, I didn't think that we'd break below 60K right there. That wasn't my expectation. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But right now, my expectation is $60.8 to $60,000 as a target area and also a potential fake out. So, and maybe we see both. Maybe we see both of those. Maybe we see neither of those and we find support here now. Maybe we see neither of those and we go lower. Maybe we see some of it. We go to the 786, 886 for support. We find it there. And then we go lower. We get the fake out. Maybe we see both. But all in all, down, up, whatever it is, I don't think it's going to be dramatically polarized like the sentiment like people are making it out to be. I think what it's going to be is whatever comes down comes back up, whatever comes up comes back down. It's going to be sideways. We're moving sideways until end of July, sometime in August. Just getting oversold. We're going to go lower. You're going to watch this video and we're going to be lower. The market's going to be lower. Stochastics in the dumps. MACD rejecting the 0 on the 4 hour. Not good. Not good. Definitely bearish. What happened the last time we rejected the 0? What happened this time here? What did we do? It wasn't good. It definitely, we got a lower low, and then we died. It was not good there. I don't expect it to be good here. daily time frame. And again, I'm right now reminiscing here. All the bears are probably having a field day. Just like all the bulls were having a field day here, and then on this fake high yesterday, all the bulls are having a field day. All the bears are having a field day now because we're breaking through this imaginary trend line that nobody gives a crap about. It's the same thing here. From this low to this low there, whenever we broke out here, you know, on a 4-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame, we have decent volume. Here, we didn't have decent volume on the daily time frame. We broke out. And here we were bullish because it looked like a breakout. Everybody was calling for bear flag breakout to the downside. We're going to go down right now. And we said, no, we're bullish. We're probably going to run up to 80K. Or I forget where. Maybe I didn't think that we were going to go this high. Sorry, I'm getting confused with this consolidation range too. But still, the point being, I remember we were bullish here. I don't remember to what point we were bullish. I don't think I expected that we'd go this high. Or maybe no, I did expect to go this high. This is whenever I was bullish to the higher price. And then I was wrong. We actually dropped. I'm getting confused. All I'm trying to say is the main thing is that we didn't have a lot of volume here. We quote unquote broke out. The bears were celebrating. Then we moved up. It was a low point to buy. It could be the same thing here. This is what we call the sweet spot, where you break this trend line here. There's low volume. You're not actually breaking it. You might find support and then you move up, but you're not moving up, you're not moving down, you're just moving sideways until a time where we actually break out lower, okay? Drilling it through your heads, your skulls, rejecting the 50, finding support at the 40. Typically when you reject the 50, you find support at the 40, that's a good thing. It is a good thing, and then you just fell. You took a good thing and you shit the bed with it, you're going to go lower. We're going to clean the sheets right now. Oversold, dramatically oversold, rejecting the overbought zone. Bearish, bad, not good. MACD sucks overall. Why? Because the oscillators are down here. Why? Because more bearish momentum, less bullish momentum. That's why. There's not a lot to go off of here. This is not really helping you, and you're not. If you're using the MACD to be like, oh, that means we're going lower. This is a lagging indicator right here on the daily time frame. There's no real signals. If we didn't look at anything else, looking at the MACD, I mean, we could go up, we could go down. It's not in itself significant enough, but we are in an overall bearish reading, to be fair. Weekly time frame, come down lower. I mean, yeah, sure, we have bullish divergence here, but I don't think so. At the same time, I don't think that's bullish divergence. I think that's a psyop. I think we're going to go lower. Stochastics just getting oversold. What happened the last time that the stochastics came from the overbought zone and just got oversold for the first time? Here you'd been oversold. It's different. I'm not referring it to this. I'm referring it to this. This is much more comparable to what we're doing now right here. What happened there? Well, that week we moved down 10%. The next week we moved down 8% on a closing basis. But from an open to low point, we moved down 14.5%. We're only down not even 2% this week. And look at this. We've just started to see now. This is a MACD that's telling you something. Oscillators are here, but we've just started to cross red. We've just started to cross red. What happened during the last bear market when the MACD just started to cross red? Well, here. You were at this point, and you were at this point. Okay. Sorry, it was this point here that you just started to cross red. There, that week, you dropped 13%. You have a pretty big wick there. Overall, you dropped 26% that week. That was when you just started to cross red. Here, what happened whenever you cross red? Well, that week, you only dropped about 0.5%, but in the months that transpired, you dropped 54%. In the months that transpired, you dropped 42%. 42, 54. The last, and then let's do this. The last 3 times, we're going to measure the last 3 times that you crossed red in a bear market. This was the beginning of the red cross. And here we were still in the bull market technically, right? We were still in the bull market, but nonetheless, we'll take it from this red cross, from the opening point of that week. We come down. I mean, I don't know where to measure this to. Did we drop 29%? Did we drop 47%? Until we got the green cross. However you want to measure it. We didn't measure with the consolidation phase down, so we'll just take it. We'll take it to the first lower price. There you go. It's a little bit less dramatic. 42%, 54%, 29%. What if we see something that's half that? What if we see something that's half of 29? We see a 14% drop. That's going to take us down to 53K. It is, right now, completely possible, and I'm not calling for this, but we have rationale enough to call for it. It's completely possible that we're going down to the 55 to 50K area this month of June. It's completely possible. Let alone seeing some type of fake out, let alone moving like that. And we don't have to go down. We don't have to go down here right now because, again, here when we last cross-fed, we consolidated a little bit. We even saw a higher high before dropping. Here when we last cross-read, we dropped immediately. Here when we cross-read that first time, we dropped that week, but then we moved sideways and then we continued to drop, right? We moved sideways for a month and then we continued to drop, which lines up with what I'm saying here. I think we're going to move sideways still for another month and then we're going to drop. But things are bad, guys. We still have 5 days, 11 hours left in this week. This weekly MACD is not officially red until the close. So let's wait and see what that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if we did have some type of volatile move, and maybe by the end of this week we close green. We close enough to where this is not flipping red. But if we do flip red, I mean, everybody should be out of crypto then at that point and waiting for the bear market finale and then getting back in. Not with your long-term positions. Long-term positions are not meant to be traded from one month to another. They're meant to be bought and you hold them and then your grandkids inherit them whenever you die. That's a long-term position. Or you pull it out whenever you're in serious financial need or you see a financial opportunity in the real world like buying real estate or a business investment, whatever. I don't have anything else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. None of this is financial advice. Good luck. Take care. Bye-bye.